Sky is so high, if you don't know how to fly, aim feel easier to make you fly. Sky is so high, if you don't know how to fly, aim feel easier to make you fly. Here we go.
Good afternoon, passengers. This is a pre-boarding announcement for Flight 89B to Rome. We are now inviting those passengers with small children and any passengers requiring special assistance to begin boarding at this time. Please have your boarding pass and identifications ready. Regular boarding will begin in approximately 10 minutes time. Thank you.
Okay. Who's another Alina? Mani's gift them a trip to somewhere in their private jet. So did not ask for money, but they asked them to go in that particular aircraft. So it was kind of a gift to them. Okay, so they can, rent the aircraft to someone if they want, or otherwise it's for their use, for their personal use. Okay, so because it actually cost a lot, it's not easy to manage a personal private jet. Even it's a smaller aircraft, but you have to pay the parking, you have to take care of the fuel, and that's only one person doing it, right? Only Ambani is filling the fuel, parking, and all the cost, maintaining, giving salaries to pilots, giving salaries to cabin crew. Everything has been done by one person. So that means this is the private jet of that person, and he's responsible for that, and he's answerable for that. Because before Malia, if you have heard, Malia also used to have a private jet. Okay, so these kind of VIPs, they do have a private jets. Okay, what else? Okay guys, so did you get this PDF file on aviation management? Okay, so could you please open that one? Everybody has opened it? So it's actually not very much to, it's a good to know information, but not important, actually very important. So they have, in first module, it's just about the introduction to the aviation industry, that how aviation started, what it is all about. I have given you the brief idea about that. Okay, so you really don't need to remember that it was, it has been written and it's a 2000 years from earlier nights and all these things. You don't need to learn that. But if somebody asks you what aviation is all about, you guys should know that. You will not tell them the history, but you just tell them a brief description. Okay, so it says size of the industry, the aviation industry. It says there are about 450 airports and 1091 registered aircraft in India today. It's way more than that now. This is not the correct figure. We have more airports and we have a lot more aircraft than 191. Okay? So maybe this is something which has been taken a year back, this data, but it's not the correct one now. So the geographical distribution is Mumbai, Kolkata, Hyderabad, Delhi, Pune, Bangalore, Chennai. This is also, we have many more divisions now. Okay. So introduction to aviation, Wright brothers, types of aircraft. Okay, do you guys know what radar is? Yes, say it, Umra. You don't know? Okay, very good.
Ma'am,
Yes, please.
it is used as a weather or any turbulence.
No, it doesn't use. That is not the only purpose. Even if the aircrafts are flying in the air, they have the information of all of them also. Yes, weather is the one thing, but it also tells you about the position or the location of a particular aircraft. So it's not only about weather. So ATC follows radar and they check the aircraft on the radar that which aircraft is flying on which altitude, on which location, where it is flying to, all these things. So if you have ever gone near to the airport, have you seen there's a one this kind of a thing and it keep moving like this? So let me show you. Let me show you. Let me show you how radar looks like. Okay. Let me show you radar. Okay, can you see this, guys? Are you able to see this? Are you able to see this?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is radar. Okay, and this is the screen which you get to see on a system, or you can say only the ATC personnel who can see this. That means it shows how many aircrafts are flying where and on which direction. Can you see this? So these spots are indicating us about the number of aircrafts. And near the airport, we get to see this radars very often. Okay, so this is the radar and it keeps on checking the location of the aircraft. It will also tell you about the weather sometimes. So these all information you will get from this radar. Okay. DGCA military aircrafts, you guys really don't need to know much about it. Military aircrafts are something regarding the militaries and all that. You guys should know that there is a one division which is called military aircraft, but you really don't need to know what exactly and how to operate this. So you just need to know there is one division of the aviation actually. Okay, so you know the difference between civil aircraft or commercial aircraft, military aircraft, cargo aircraft, private jets, right? No doubt about it. Okay, let's talk about ICAO. It's ICAO. So the full form is International Civil Aviation Organization. So DGCA is actually in India, and in India all the airlines follow DGCA, but DGCA follows ICAO. So it is actually an international civil aviation organization. So internationally, there is one organization which makes or which makes a new SOP, for example. So, for example, they have made the SOPs that for example, after 9/11, ICAO, which is the international organization, has decided that we will make the aircraft, we will make the cockpit door bulletproof. That is ICAO, which have decided. Now they have said that the cockpit door should be bulletproof. DGCA cannot deny that. DGCA has to follow that. Okay, so if ICAO said okay this should be done, DGCA say okay I will do that. But if DGCA wants to do something along with that, it's DGCA's fault. But ICAO's information or ICAO's new SOPs has to be followed. So if ICAO has said that okay we will make the bulletproof doors, DGCA said okay we will make the bulletproof doors, and we are adding one additional thing to it. For example, we are adding that manual locking system in the cockpit door. ICAO will say do whatever you want to do, but just follow what I am asking you. So, did you get my point?
Yes, ma'am.
So, imagine there is a school, there is one principal of that particular school, that is DGCA. Okay? And there is a dean above that which has so many schools, and he has to take care of all the schools. Okay, so dean is actually handling, for example, I'm just giving you a hypothetical example, dean is handling 4 schools and DGC is actually the principal of one of those schools. Okay, different countries have different, for example in America it's NTSP, something like that. Yeah, NTSP, national, something like that, I'm not sure, because in Sully they talk about NTSP. So in America it's NTSP, in India it's DGCA. Similarly, different countries have different aviation, what do you call that? Aviation rules or whatever, regularities or agencies or whatever you say. So did you get the point? In India it's DGCA, but who handles DGCA follow? ICAO. Understood? What is ICAO? What is ICAO?
International Civil Aviation Organization.
International Civil Aviation Organization. So it's ICAO, then DGCA, then that's how we follow them. Okay? Alright, what is else? ATC, you guys know what ATC is?
Air traffic control.
Air traffic control. From where you get all the information that, not you actually, the pilots, that okay you can fly on this side at this altitude, now come down to this altitude, now you will have a weather, now you will not face the weather, all these information. Okay, alright, then we have AAI, that is Airports Authority of India. So Airports Authority of India, what is that? Let me read that for you. Was constituted by an act of parliament and came into being in the 1st April 1995 by merging authorized by National Airport Authority and International Airport Authority of India. The merged powerful organization extension. Okay, so just basic idea, AAI, that is Airport Authority of India, is the authority which takes care or which makes any kind of rule for all the airports in India. Okay, so for example, all the airports in India, nobody can go inside the aircraft, inside the airport. That is very common in India, but it doesn't happen in anywhere else most of the time. I have seen in US, you can drop your parents, you can go inside till the check-in counter, and once they are going in the immigration and in then customs, then you cannot go. But here in India, in all the airports, you cannot go inside the airport at all. Okay, you have to leave or you have to say goodbye to the person outside at the door itself, because CSF is standing there and they will let the person go inside. Only that person who has that boarding pass with them and has boarding pass, not boarding pass, actually the ticket, the e-ticket, which they show it to the CSF, then they show their ID, for example, any ID, voter ID, driving license, Aadhaar card, anything, so that he can see that okay, he is the same person who's traveling, and then he will let you enter the airport. Not anybody else can go along. For example, if I am going to leave my parents, I cannot go inside until and unless I have an airport entry pass. Okay, because being a crew, you get that airport entry pass. So you can enter any airport in India. So you don't need a boarding pass for that, or you don't need any ticket for that. So that is airport entry permit. We get that because every day the airline will not send us the ticket which we can show them and we can enter. So we get a pass. I am not sure I have that pass or not. So it is valid for 1 year. Okay. So many times when my parents used to travel, I just showed the CSF that okay, I am going inside because I have that pass. I have gone with them. I have helped them with check-in and everything, and then they go for it. Okay. So, but you should have that airport entry pass, and only the airline will give you the airport entry pass, not anybody else. So once you are flying, once you are crew or a captain or anyone, I mean those who are working at the airport, you will get the airport entry pass. You can enter the airport. Except you and except the person who is actually flying and has the boarding pass, nobody else can enter the airport. It is actually the rule which has been made by Airport Authority of India. Okay, so each airport has been made, and there were so few SOPs that okay, this should be done. These many, what do you call that? Parking bays should be there, and these many runways should be there. These many outlets, because you guys, if you have been to airport, you must have seen there are shops in the airport where you can eat, where you can sit. There are lounges. So those people need to get the acceptance, or you can say permission from the airport authority that okay, they can open their outlet here. Okay, so they will only those people can open their outlets in the airport who got the permission from the airport authority of India. Okay, so they all have all the airports in India actually report to one authority, and that authority is Airport Authority, AAI, Airport Authority of India. You got the idea? Immigration, you guys know what immigration is? Yes or no? You guys
Want to go outside?
okay. So if you are traveling from one place to another, no, one place to outside India. For example, you are in India right now. You are traveling to any other country. You need a permission for that. Okay, it's not like आज हम सोच रहे हैं चलो आज अमेरिका चलते हैं and then we can go. No, we need a proper visa for that. You know what visa is? So visa is the actual permission which we get to enter that country. Okay, so it's not like you are getting a normal visa and you can go and you can stay there. No, there are different kind of visas. There is tourist visa, there is 10 days visa, there is 15 days visa, there is a work visa, or then you can be a PR. You know what PR is? Permanent residence. Okay, so in US you generally get a tourist visa. A tourist visa, for example, if the tourist visa is for 10 days or 15 days, you are supposed to come back after 15 days to your country. You cannot stay there for the 16th day. And if they found you be there on the 16th day, they will deport you back and they will never let you enter the country again. Because you have a permission for this much time only. It's not like you have permission, you said I have the visa, I can go and I can stay wherever I want. Okay? So you get the visas as per, you just apply them and it's their wish that They can grant you visa for 10 days, for 20 days, for 15 days, for a year, for 10 years, for 15 years. It's all up to them. A work visa is like you get the work visa from a particular company. For example, if I have applied in some company in America, they accepted my application letter, then they talked to me, they took the interview and everything online, and if they are satisfied, they want me to work with them, they will send me a work visa. That will the company who will send the work visa. For example, the company will send the work visa for 2 years. Okay, so you can stay there for 2 years because the company has been asked you to come there and work for them. Okay, so that is a work visa. Then PR is actually when you have stayed in a particular country for good amount of time and you are working there, your family is there, everything is there, then you can apply for PR. PR is actually a permanent residence. Then that person will not a citizen of India anymore. Then the person will be citizen of U. If he's staying in US, then the person is the permanent resident of US. That will be foreigner to us. Okay. So then you don't need visa or anything. That you have the American passport then. Then you need permission to come to India. Then you need to ask India that okay, can I come? And it's up to India that they are giving the right that person to come back or not, or for how many days or not. So this all is a very big chain. So for example, you got the visa. At the immigration, what they check? They check you have the proper ticket. They check you have a proper visa. They check you have the back ticket also. For example, if you have 15 days of visa only, they check at the counter that okay, you have this much of visa, you have 15 days of visa. Where is your return ticket? They let you go only if you have a return ticket of 15 days. Because then it shows that you are going, but nobody knows you are going to come back or not. So this is the thing which immigration officers check on the airport. They check for your visa especially. If your visa is valid, they will let you go, your boarding pass is valid, and if you have a return ticket, then they will let you go. They can ask you questions that why you want to go there, who stays there, okay, all these kind of questions, because they just want to check that the person is going for, different countries have different requirements. America does not let anybody come there and start working there. They don't want that. So they have few regulations. So if you have a proper visa and even if the immigration officer came to know that, this person, I doubt this person and he's not the right person. We should not let this person enter the country or go from our country or all these things. He has all the rights to ask you, they will take you somewhere else, they will ask you more questions or all these things will happen. And if you said your answers are satisfying and they feel like no, you can go and you can work there and you are actually going for for spending your vacation there, only then they will let you know. And if they feel something is going on in his mind, if he will go, he will never come back. He's trying to get settled there, or he's trying to he'll be vanished. You guys know that there are few people which go there and they just disappear. They never comes back. So they at that point of time they are just trying to understand that what is your psyche, what you want to go, why you want to go, what you will do there, and when you will come back. And if they have 0.1% of doubt, they will not let you go. Guys, just give me a moment. I'm getting a very important call. Just be online. Alright, guys. I'm sorry for that. Okay, so do you understand now what is visas, what is immigration, what is customs? Okay, who will tell me what is customs? Switch on your cameras, guys. Please, I really don't feel good when you guys switch off the camera and I'm the only one who's talking. Everyone on the camera, please. What do you understand by customs? You must have heard about customs, immigrations, all these things. Something wrong with my throat today. Okay. What is customs? Tell me, come on. I know it is a little boring, but don't make it even more boring. You guys really don't know what customs is?
Also checking in the airport that whether there is any smuggling or something like that happens, like gold smuggling.
Right. But what if I'm carrying a gold? Why it is called smuggling?
Because without the proper clearance, it will be handled.
What do you mean by proper clearance?
I don't know much about.
Any idea, anyone else? You are on the right path, Veena, but just you need to explain a little bit more. Okay, who will tell me? Why you guys are not switching on your cameras? I wish I so want to teach you all in a classroom, and if you are not responding to me, I'm gonna get that. What do you call that? That stick, and I'll throw at you, and then you'll be awake. I'm a very bad teacher, I'm telling you. Just don't go on my smiling, okay? I can be very rude at times. Okay, so nobody knows what custom is all about, and you want to be a cabin crew. Very good. Okay, so custom is a department if you are carrying anything from outside to India. For example, when you go to Dubai is famous for gold, right? You get a very good gold there. Do you guys even know that? You guys really need to go and work on your general knowledge. It's really required. And ladies, you should know that. Where do you get the best gold? So Dubai, or especially in the Middle East, the gold is you will get a very good quality of gold, and it's little cheaper than India. India has the rates of gold are very high, but in Middle East it's little less, and it's more pure. So whenever people travel to Dubai, they used to carry a lot of gold, right? So they are saving a lot of money. But when that is the rule of each and every country, that if you are carrying or buying anything from outside to their country or to India, because we are Indian, so we will carry that to India, we need to pay a little amount to the customs as a duty. Okay, we are spending, in that way India's money is going out, right? I am working here, I'm earning here, right? I'm teaching you, I'm getting paid for that. That means I'm earning here in India. There is no other country who's paying me. So it's India who's paying me, right? So that means that is an Indian money which I'm getting. If I'll go out and I'll do shopping, that means I have spent my Indian money somewhere else. For example, in US, right? I'm working here, I'm earning here, but I'm spending it somewhere else. That means they are gaining the benefit and India's money is going out, right? So that to preserve that money, there are few limitations on that. That you are not supposed to carry 50 kgs of gold when you are going to Dubai. It's not allowed. There is a little amount is allowed. That okay, for example, you can carry 1 kg. I'm just giving a hypothetical example. These are not the correct things which I'm telling you right now. It's just a hypothetical situation. For example, 1 kg is allowed, but on that 1 kg, there will be a duty which you guys are supposed to pay. You need to pay to the customs, in order to get the clearance that okay, I am getting this much of gold and I am paying you a duty for that. So nobody will stop you. So now, most of the people, what they does is, I'm really sorry guys, just give me a moment. Can you hear me? Oh, great. So people are very sharp. They want to save the money. I mean, if they are going and shopping, they are buying gold from there because it's cheap. What is the point of buying it from there? Because if you are paying the money, you are not saving anything out of it. If you are paying the customs. So what they do is, okay, so customs is applied only if you are carrying gold or gadgets like phone, laptop, TV, all these things. And especially on the proteins. You must have heard about the protein, whey protein, all these kind of tablets or all these things, all medicines especially. So if you are carrying it in a very huge amount, you have to pay the customs. As simple as that. But only one case. If you are carrying that gold on you, if you are wearing that gold, you don't need to pay anything to the customs. You can say that, okay, I was wearing it when I was going from here. This is mine. But you should not carry the empty box with you. If you are carrying the empty box with you, that means you are buying it. You have bought it from there, and now you have to pay the customs. So it's not like you are wearing 10 sets and 10 gold chains and 10 rings. That is also not allowed. So you have to be a little bit smart in that case. If you are wearing, for example, 2 chains, then 2 rings, then big earrings, or maybe bangles, that is okay. But if you are making it so obvious by wearing 10 number of things here, then bangles, then rings, of course custom officer will stop you and ask you, what is this? Okay, so these are the things you need to the custom officers take care. So what happens is, most of the people, they try to save that money. They don't want to pay to the customs, right? So if you will not pay to the custom officers are very sharp. They are, most of the time, they are standing at the gate of the airport where you are coming from. For example, you have cleared your immigration and once you are coming from somewhere, you have to clear the immigration first, then the customs, and then you will come out of the airport. Okay, so you have cleared the customs. After you have cleared the immigration. So once you have cleared the immigration, you will get your bags on the baggage belt. You know what baggage belt is? So on that baggage belt, your all checked-in luggage will be there. So as soon as you collect your check-in baggage, that means, for example, if you have a big bag on all these things, you are going out of the airport. The custom officers will be standing at there only because they want to see that how much bag, how much things do you have. So they just pick randomly anyone. They just they do profiling. They just see, because most of the people, they just try to hide themselves along behind someone and just get out of the door. They just try to do that. Those who are carrying something and they have not paid the customs, they just try to get out of the airport as soon as possible. They stop those people and they ask them to come back and scan their bags. And if they found something, you are just gone. So it is like that. For example, and especially if you are carrying phones, for example, if you are going to US and iPhone is very cheap there, you bought an iPhone and you came back. If they saw the iPhone in a proper packing, you have to pay the customs. Or maybe they can do anything, you know. They can ask you to leave the phone here, and they will harass you like anything. So if you are carrying that iPhone and you are carrying it in a box, you are gone. If they check that and you have not paid the custom. If you are carrying a phone on your hand without the box, nobody will say anything to you. That means you are using that phone, that's your phone. Okay, but it should be one phone. It should not be 10 phones in your hands. Okay, so these are the things. That is what customs is all about. Any doubts about the customs so far? Any doubt? Any question you guys want to ask? Anything you want to know, that how can I take this thing out of the aircraft without the customs? You can ask me, I can help you, trust me. I know all the loopholes. But I need my commission in that. If you're getting 2 iPhones, one will be mine then. Anywho, so but these guidelines are different for the cabin crew. Our life is very difficult, I'm telling you, because we fly after every 2 or 3 days to Dubai. In a month we are flying like 4 times, just an example. So if in a month we fly to Dubai 4 times, how much smuggling we can do, imagine. How many iPhones, how many gold, how much commission I can get, right? So that's why customs are very clever. What they did not allow to get anything from there. So we are not allowed to carry anything from anywhere of the world. And they literally check us, they scan our bag, they do the thorough checking. On top of it, there's one more thing. So before you are going to flight, you have to write it down on a piece of paper. We call it baggage declaration paper. Okay. So on that paper, you have to write it down how much jewelry you are wearing. For example, I'm wearing a gold chain. You have to write it down, one gold chain of 10 grams, for example. You have to write it down. You have to write it down what kind of earrings you are wearing. Even if it is an artificial earring, you have to write it down, artificial earring. If it is a gold earring, you have to write it down, this is a gold earring, this much grams. How many rings? Then we have to write down which watch, the wrist watch we are wearing, which company it is. We have to write it down. How much money, how much cash we are carrying with us. We have to write it down. Which phone, how many phones, which laptop, which camera, which speaker we are carrying with us. We have to write it down, each and everything. And we have to make sure that whatever we are writing, those are the things which we are getting back. There should not be 2 phones instead of 1 phone. For example, I have wrote, okay, I have one iPhone and I am carrying this with me. It should be 1 iPhone when you are coming back. It should not be 2 iPhones. If it is 2 iPhones, you are gone. Because it is kind of a smuggling, and we can do that very easily because we fly very frequent to other countries, right? So, you know, our family members, my friend, if my friend says, अच्छा यहाँ पर तो iPhone, for example, 50,000 का मिल रहा है, वहाँ पर तो 40 का मिल रहा है. So you take 5,000 and I'll take you 45 and get me an iPhone. I can do that. I'm doing nothing, but I'm earning 5,000 in between. I'll do it. Fine, I'll do it. But customs will not let you do it. Otherwise, cabin crew will be the next Ambani. Trust me. We just can't do that, but sad. We can't even allow to shop there. You know that? But we are clever people, so we do something or the other and we do buy stuff from there. But of course, we don't buy things like gadgets. We don't buy things like gold or something. I never bought. I have done so many US flights, but I have never bought an iPhone from there. You know what? People, my friends actually ask me, you are flying to US. Why you are spending so much money here in India to buy an iPhone? I was like, I love my job. I don't want to, I don't want my company to say bye bye to me. So it's good I'm flying, but I can't take risk on that. But of course, I have shopped from there. I have shopped clothes, shoes, bags. Those things I have done. What I have done, because it's actually not allowed at all, because we are supposed to carry a limited amount of money there. So we have credit cards, right? So we use that. We say that, okay, I have 500. I have, for example, $100. So they allow you to, if you are staying there for 3 days, for example, and you have $100, those $100 you can spend only on food, nothing else. Right? So so courteous they are. They don't want us to die. They want us to eat. So they gave us $100. Okay, take the $100, eat and sleep. Do nothing else if you are going to America. So this is so stupid of them, but we can't say anything. DGCA. So yeah. So they gave us $100 and they asked us to eat and sleep in the hotel itself. But we are smart people. We have credit cards. We use that. We shop, and we came back. Okay, and I mean, they also know, companies also know, customs also know that they are going, so they are not just staying at one place. But these are the things which are okay with them. But you cannot buy expensive things from there. It is not allowed. Okay, so it might look that we travel everywhere of the world and we get fancy things. It's not like that. We do fly, we do travel, but we can't buy anything from there because of Indian customs. So yeah, for crew, they are so cruel actually. If they found you doing something like that, they will ask you to, they will be after the company. For example, if I am working with Indigo and they found something from me that I am hiding from them, first they will harass you like anything. You must know that government employees are so, I don't want to say that, but they are so kind of illiterate. They don't know how to talk to a lady, and they don't care about that because they have authority. They can say whatever you want, and you are at mistake, you have to listen. You can't say anything. So you are standing there, 100 of people passing by you, and they are shouting at you. This is so harassing. And then second thing, they will harass the company, the airline. I am flying with Indigo, they will harass Indigo, and Indigo will be after my life. That how can you do this? And they will not let me fly for one more day. They will ask me to leave then and there. So this thing is that serious. I mean, jokes apart, but this is actually something very serious. Just don't listen to me what I'm saying, but listen, just get to know the seriousness of this thing. It is actually, they call it smuggling when we are getting something. I mean, even if I'm getting something for myself, it's smuggling for them. Alright, so imagine 100 of people passing by you and people are listening. Okay, you are the smuggler. You have smuggled this when you have just bought an iPhone from them. So it doesn't matter what you are doing. What's wrong is wrong. Okay. So immigration clear, customs clear, right? What's next? Let me see. Immigration. Okay, do you guys know what deportees are? Whom do we deport from other country? Do you know what deporting is? Alright. So, if the person has flew from here to America, right? Indian immigration has checked. As per Indian immigration, his documents were fine. The visa was fine, the ticket was fine, everything was good. But as soon as that person reached the airport in America, there will be an immigration check. So they will check the immigration there also. If they found anything wrong in the documentation or anything wrong in any kind of paperwork there is missing, they will not let the person enter the country. The person will stay at the airport and they will arrange another flight for the person. They will contact the Indian government, Indian immigration government, that okay, this person does not have this kind of immigration, or sorry, not immigration, this paper he doesn't have, the paperwork is not clear, so you need to take your people back to your country. So the Indian government will arrange a flight back for that person, and that person will come back to India without even entering America. Okay, is that clear? So they are actually deporting that person. One type of deporting. Second deportee is like if the person had stayed in the country more than their visas. For example, if the visa is for 1 year and the person has stayed for 1 year 2 months, and the government of that country came to know, they will take that person, they will contact Indian government, the Indian government will arrange a flight back for that person. So we call them deportees when the country where they are flying to has some problem with that person, with the paperwork, or maybe with if the person has overstayed, that person will come back to India, and that is called deporting. Understood? Understood what deporting is all about? Yes or no? I can't see anyone except Shubham. Any doubts in this so far? No doubts? I think that is almost done. There is no much things to talk about. And if you have the PDF file, just go through the module 5th. Do you have the PDF files of aviation management?
Yes. Ma'am, I don't know PDF. I don't have PDF.
Okay, you don't have Sumita. I'll ask someone to send you. Oh shit. I have a throat pain. I hope this is not COVID. Okay. So module 5 is terminologies in airline. Everybody can see that? Okay. So you just have to go through these abbreviations. Not not all the abbreviations you guys need to learn, but just remember few of them I have been used in day-to-day art sessions. Just go through them once. If you have any doubt in them, you can ask me and we can talk about it tomorrow. Okay? So for example, ATC, Air Traffic Control, right? ATCC, Air Traffic Control Center. So that is their office, we call them ATCC. Okay? Then there's one more, APU, Auxiliary Power Unit. This is important. Just read about it. If you'll not be able to understand, I'll discuss it tomorrow. I'm really sorry I can't discuss it today because I have talked a lot today and my throat is paining. So APU is important. Just read about APU, ATC, ATCC. ABSEC is important. Base, Bleed Air, CAA. DCT. Alright, just go all of them once. Okay? And if you have any doubt in this, I will go through it once also. So I will tell you all the important ones which you really need to know. For example, FO. So we call FO a lot because that's how we that's what we call the co-pilot. One is the pilot, that is the captain, and another one is FO, that is the first officer. Okay, so we use this in our day-to-day terminology in aviation. Okay, what else? IHR, IAS, honor. Okay, so you just need to go through this abbreviations, and once you need to go through all of them, and then those who are important, I will tell you tomorrow. And I think this is almost done. So if you guys have any doubt, just go through the module once and just ask me tomorrow. Okay? Maybe I also need to go through the module once. So the abbreviations I will check today and I will discuss this tomorrow. Is that okay? Alright. Any doubts from today's session so far? It was not interesting, but I tried to make it a little interesting. I know it's a little boring. But now you know what customs is, right? Immigration clear, airport authority, BCA, ICAO. These are very important abbreviations which you guys should know. The basic idea of ICAO, the DGCA, immigration, customs, aviation, simple things, okay? No doubt, so shall we call it off then? Sure? Okay, so please go through the abbreviations one and we will discuss it tomorrow. Okay? Veena, just go and enjoy your celebration, please.
Yeah, sure. ma'am.
Have fun. Alright guys,
Thank you.
have a very good evening. Enjoy your evening. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Okay?
Thank you. ma'am.
Alright, bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Enjoy.
Ma'am,